And you read the title right. This is my 2003 Toyota Sienna. Anyways, let's go take a look and see all the interesting things that I have to deal with every day. I'm going to start right here, and that's the headlight bulb you see there. It is minuscule. It's like an inch long, and a centimeter is its diameter. I don't know why Toyota decided to do this. Yeah, that's what they decided to do with the headlight bulb. Practically the only other interesting thing in the exterior of this car comes below the headlights on the front bumper. You can see that there's this kind of, area where the fog light would originally be. But in this car, it isn't a fog light because it's one of the lower trim levels. But take a look here, you can see they've kind of put this little slit in this area to make it look like a fake air vent. Once again, I do not know why Toyota decided to do this, but that's what they decided to do with the area where they're supposed to put the fog light. And before we move inside, I have to discuss the key. You see, it looks like a regular, normal key. You can see the regular remote fob with panic, it would be the alarm, the lock, unlock buttons, and in this particular remote, the battery died off. But with that, we'll move inside. Next up, we move on to the door panel, and take a look. You can see it looks like every other normal door panel. You got some leather over there, and a door handle, so window switches, power locks. Sorry about that. There is the window lockout, and there's a little bit of storage down over there. But one of the buttons I listed earlier is really strange, and let's go talk about that. You might have figured it out already, but that button would be this button here. This is the window lockout button. You can see that it's like every other normal button. Click it in, it's locked. Click it out, it's not locked. But the strange thing is, why did they have to put it? Only two windows in this car are actually functional. The driver's side window and the passenger side window. So you have that button, you can play with it if you want to. Next, I move on to this little storage area over here, and everyone that's on, at least me, that's on this car was, I am still wondering why this thing is there. You can see just this tiny little storage area, but I have figured it out. It's there so you can put coins, and if you're at the toll booth, you can just open this drawer and give coins right at the toll booth. It's a smart idea, and a lot of other companies should do this. Something of good attention to detail, that would be the gear lever. You see, it looks like a normal gear lever. You can pull it down, and it's looking like a normal gear lever. The strange thing is at the base of it, look here. Ta-da! You can see Toyota decided to put this little bit of leather here, and I think that's a really cool touch. Next, we move on to the climate control buttons, and as you see, they look like every normal climate control button should. You got some dials here, you got the AC button, over there you got your different zones, and that would be the control to lock out the rear passengers for their climate control. We'll get to that in a second. But the strange thing are these two buttons here, because one of them clicks in. You can see you can click it in and click it out. There is a little bit of elevation in it. Take a look at it from the side. But the other one doesn't. I don't know why Toyota decided to do this, but they did. And, that's my opinion. In my opinion, I think they did cheap out on this button on the left rather than that button. But that's what Toyota decided to do. And remember, I personally think that they decided to cheap it out, but you may have a different opinion on this. One really cool button in the cabin, however, is this button down here. That controls the rear third quarter windows. You can see there's these little flowy lines on the top. Press that, and the rear third quarter windows were open, and you have a little bit of extra air in the back. Press the X and it closes. I think that's really cool. Anyways, with that, there's nothing really more interesting in here. Let's go ahead and move on to the back. Of course, considering this is a minivan, it does have rear sliding doors. Pull the door handle, and as you can see, it just slides open to the back instead of opening like a regular door. Climbing in, however, we do have some interesting amenities back here. I'm going to first start off with legroom back here, and there's a decent amount. You can see I have a decent amount out here, but you can't really judge it by me, considering I'm only 12. You might have a bit of a trouble if you're over 6 feet tall, but I'm not sure, you may not. But let's go take a look at the other things back here. We're going to start off here. This is this rear grab handle that you can hold on. They also have this. This is the bottle holder. You can put a bottle in here, and it says no cups. But they're only saying that because it's a really deep holder in there. But you can put cups in there if you want to. Yeah, I do it all the time. But if you are gonna follow Toyota's rules, you have this little button here. Press this button, and a cup holder pops out, so you can put your cup in there. But by far, the best thing that's in the back is this. This is the rear climate control. As you can see, you have your air conditioning, you can change the heat, you can change your fan speed. It's a good thing that the front can lock this out, because you don't want your children to put the air conditioning on when it's snowing, for example. But if it is unlocked, you have a lot of different ways that you can change your climate control, and I think that's a cool little feature. And right now, I know you're wondering, like, where does the AC come out from? It comes out from these roof air vents here. You can open it up just like that and kind of swirl it around to wherever you want it to. There's also a coat hook on the driver's side. The passenger side. There's a coat hook here. You can put your coat there because the climate controls are on the driver's side of the car and the coat hook is on the passenger side, which makes it a little bit asymmetrical. Other than that, there aren't any interesting things in the front and the back of the car. Let's go and move on to the very back of the car. On the captain chair's cars, you do have a little pass-through in the middle here, so you can just climb into the rear. On the bench seat cars, however, you have to follow this. Cool enough, the seats can move forward and backward. You're going to pull this bar up and move the seat completely forward. Next, you have this little handle here. You're going to pull that handle, and then it tumbles the seat back forward, and you can climb into the rear. And now you have a nice access into the third row, so all you got to do, kind of do one of these, and climb in. Back in the third row, I have enough legroom here. I can manage it. Yeah, I have a decent amount of legroom there, but once again, if you're over 6 feet tall, you might have a little bit of trouble back here. And there aren't as many cool things in the third row of the car as there in the second row, but there are some, and let's go and start it off. I'll start it off right here. You can see we have a nice storage area. Just pull this latch here, and it opens right up, and you have a decent amount of storage there. Next to it is a cup holder, so you can put your drink, and on the passenger side, you also have an ashtray. There's also an ashtray in the middle row on the driver's side, and that's just strange. That's really strange in my opinion. Like, why is there an ashtray on the passenger side of the third row and then the driver's side of the second row? I think that's a strange. The third row also has air vents back here, so you can fiddle around with those. And unlike the second row, which has a coat hook and the climate controls, the third row passengers have this grab handle over there that you can pull on. There are also the cool third row windows. Remember the controls I told you in the front? Yeah, those pull the windows out slightly and about an inch, so you can have extra air come into your cabin. And finally, it's time to move on to the rear of the car. You can see, like, if you walk over here, in this area, there's a little latch. You just have to pull on this latch, and the trunk opens right open. You can see on here, There are some hydraulics that open it up. There's also one on the other side. As for an actual room back here, there is a decent amount. You can see I fit this medium-sized packing box, and there's also a little bit of room left over for groceries. You can also fold down the third row. You can see right over here, there is this black handle. You just gotta push on this handle, and the seats flop down. Just like that. If you need even more room, you gotta get down here, and you have this little black handle. Pull this up, and the seat will tumble forward into a position like this. Just like that, and you can put a little bit more longer items back here in the cargo area. There's also a little light switch back here, so you can flip that on, and the cargo area lights up so you can see your things that are back here in the cargo area. Turn it off, and down here, you have this little latch there. Pull on this latch, and there's a lot of things in here. You have a jack, you have a first aid kit, you have a cargo net, and if you kind of deep around, scurry, there is a flashlight in there, and I think that's really cool. Oh, and by the way, this is how the flashlight looks. You can see it looks like a regular flashlight here. You can flip the switch and it turns on. Unfortunately, this one doesn't work anymore, but if it did work, oh, that would be amazing. And so, that's a tour of my 2003 Toyota Sienna. It's about time to drive it. Okay, so what is it like to ride in my minivan? So, let's start off with the transmission the car had. And it features a 4-speed automatic, and well, it isn't on par on modern standards, of course, but it was a pretty good transmission back in '03. It did the job, and it's pretty smooth. The ride's smooth. It once again just does the job for the vehicle. And if you move on to acceleration, this car had a 210 horsepower, 3.5-liter V6 underneath the hood. And it could do 0 to 60 in 8.75 seconds. It was on par, back in 2003 of course, and on par with other minivans like the Honda Odyssey, for example. And it even was just as good as some cars. And then you move on to braking, and it's pretty good, but of course it's not as good as the modern cars at every other point. It brakes good, it's sufficient, the job works. And then we move on to ride comfort and handling. This car isn't meant to be a good handling car, and it makes sense. Minivan just isn't meant for good handling. It turns good, like minivan should. It just turns around corners. As for ride comfort, it is a pretty comfortable car, especially back in 2003. It was a really comfortable car to ride in. The leather was soft and plush, and the ride quality was just nice overall. You had a nice sense when you were driving around in the car, and riding around was even better. It was comfortable, the seats were nice, and so we move on to an award it. How is the car overall like in everyday driving? And I would say this is a comfortable car. It's a cruiser, if you say so. It's a nice cruiser to go around. It's good for long trips, considering the rear climate control and the front climate, and a lot of different adjustability settings for the front climate control. It is a really good car for long trips and for short trips too. It's a minivan, and it makes sense that it's a really good car for short trips and long trips combined, because that's what a minivan's went for. And the 8-passenger seating, of course, gives additional practicality over this all. It was just nice overall ride. It was meant to be a comfortable car, not a sporty one, and that's what it is. It is a nice, comfortable car. And so, that's the end of my first ever car review. Thank you all for watching this video, and until then, it's me, signing off.